Jordan, 20-footer, head of the key, good! Chicago is world champions once more. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Okay. Oh my God, that was beautiful. What a finish. I never gave up. Every time we were close, I knew we were going to do it. I knew it.
Well, for Bulls fans, there is, of course, cause for celebration tonight after a 6th championship that came harder than the others. But there's some anxiousness mixed in as well. Who knows how all of this will play out, but it's certainly possible that tonight we saw the last of the Chicago Bulls as we have known them. And whether it ends here or sometime in the near future, it'll be noteworthy not just for the breakup of one of the great teams in sports history, but because given the present structure of pro sports, it may be quite a while before we see anything like this again.
There are a lot of ways for a dynasty to die. Age, neglect, the failure to replenish and recycle, the vagaries of free agency, utter and complete stupidity of an owner. What we have with the last dance and death of the Bulls dynasty is nothing short of murder, calculated and premeditated. On January 13th, 1999, Michael Jordan announced his long-expected retirement from basketball. And the Chicago Bulls dynasty his presence created vanished like a snowdrift in a Chinook wind. It took 8 months to dismantle the Chicago Bulls. However, there's a long history showing that we have to begin the story 14 years before the demise. In March 1985, Jerry Reinsdorf became the owner of the Bulls and gave all management power to his beloved Jerry Krause. Reinsdorf didn't know much about basketball, and Krause was his brain. Krause began his career as a basketball scout in 1961. He discovered a lot of baseball and basketball superstars. Now he got a chance to run the Bulls. Not more than a year after, Michael Jordan and Krause clashed. This is how everything started. Jordan broke his foot earlier in the '86 season, and Krause sent 3 specialists to examine the injury. They said there's a 90% chance of re-injuring if Jordan returns in the season. Jordan ignored doctors' advice. Krause showed up with a tape recorder in a meeting with MJ and doctors. Jordan got furious about this. Another session, now Jordan with the tape recorder. They don't want me to play. So they missed the playoffs again and tanked the team. Get a high draft pick. Krause turned to Michael and said, "You're going to do what we say. You're our property." That was the time young MJ realized he was in a business. But Jordan came back. The Bulls made the playoffs. He scored 49 in the first game and 63 in the second game against the Celtics. The second crackdown was 2 years later when Krause traded Michael Jordan's best friend, Charles Oakley, for Bill Cartwright. Jordan was in Vegas for the Mike Tyson fight when the trade happened. And there's the Phil Jackson side of the story. In '87, Krause picked him as Doug Collins' assistant. 2 years later, the team was his. He was the third coach the two Jerrys hired since 1985.
So we're going to pick up the story right where that left off at. So did everybody see you saw The Last Dance, right, Sean?
Yes, sir.
You saw, and you said you saw parts of it, right? See? Oh, for the audience who doesn't know, C. Anthony is joining us now. He's going to join us for this segment. So you saw parts of it, right, C?
Yeah.
So, and I was asking Sean, was there anything in particular that he didn't know about this whole Bulls dynasty, about Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan? He said he pretty much knew everything. One thing that I found out the other night that I was really surprised by, that Scottie Pippen was only 5'10" at one point, and what was he doing? He was like the ball boy or something like that for some.
Yeah.
He was, right?
He was a ball boy.
He was a ball boy.
And he was playing point guard his whole life, too, before he hit his spurt.
And I also didn't know about his brothers being in a wheelchair and just the poverty.
He had a tough upbringing.
Yeah. I didn't understand the whole bunch. So it kind of makes sense about what happened with the contract, how he signed that horrible contract, because he just needed the money.
Contract we have to talk about. Oh, that was one of the things that surprised me the most. That contract was 7 years, $16 million. Corey, C. Anthony, do you know that's actually the worst contract I've ever heard in my life?
Was it 16 or 18?
I think it was 16 million, 7 years.
It was one or the other. But yeah, even still, whether it was 18 or 16. I didn't mean to cut you off, Corey, but go ahead.
Well, I would say for that era, for the exact time he came in, I would say it's not that bad.
You know why
80s.
I think it is? Because Jerry Reinsdorf.
Yeah,
Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the Chicago Bulls. He said he told him not to sign that contract.
Yeah, he did tell him. He said, "Don't sign it. This isn't the right contract for you." But I think I don't even know. They didn't get into the circumstances of that contract. That wasn't his rookie contract, right?
No, this contract was signed in '91.
So this was his basically after his rookie contract was up, and he was up for another contract.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was a bad contract, but you got to fault him because he didn't have to sign. He could have negotiated.
Yeah. Anytime the owner is telling you not to take the contract, the guy who could fix the problem. But I guess that's what probably Pippen's. What am I saying? What am I thinking about? Okay, his not his the guy that's shopping his contract.
His agent.
His agent. Forgive me for that, y'all. But his agent probably was like, "Yo, 7 years, $16 million. That sounds good to me." And that's what they put on the table. For the owner to say no, we don't sign that contract. That must have been the first offer that he got.
Probably so, but
had to be.
Yeah, it had to be. But I was just they were saying that he was having back problems already at that point in time, and he didn't know. 'Cause I don't think he was a free agent yet. He had one more year before he actually became a free agent. They offered him this contract a year early. So because of his back problems, from what I got from it was because of his back problems, he was like, "What if I really hurt my back at some point this next year?" And then they don't offer me nothing. So
true.
That's
go ahead, Corey.
That's the game, Of course, I would say I wish that Scotty got what he deserved. Of course, I wish he got a lot more, but that's the game. They catch you in certain years. They manipulate things. Sometimes you need money. Then you hadn't really 91. I don't think they hadn't really won that championship yet. So it's like it just shows you how ruthless business is. I put it like that. It just shows you how ruthless business is.
It almost feels like they played bad cop, good cop. Like they laid a contract on the table and said, here's a contract we're going to offer you. But then the owner comes along and says, "Oh, don't sign that contract." He knew about that contract before they gave it to him.
Yeah, he did. But the reason he told him was this. Jerry said he told him was because if one thing everybody know about Jerry Reinsdorf is if you sign a contract, he does not renegotiate. And he said that was one of the reasons why he told Pippen, "Don't sign that contract." So in layman's terms, he was saying, if you want to do some negotiation about this contract, let's do it now. Because if you put your pen to that pad, I'm going to never, ever renegotiate. And I don't.
That's kind of ruthless, though. And you see Scotty tried to,
It
though.
is ruthless.
He tried to get him to go back on his word, but he wouldn't do it.
He was like, "What I told you at the beginning. Don't sign that contract, boy."
In hindsight, which is easy, I think I would have said, "Okay, if this the contract, I need some incentives. Like, hey, if I score X amount of points, if I get X amount of assists, if we get past the first round, little bonus packages that come along with it." So I hold the mind of the bargain. A lot of people can get that. Like, I think I don't know, maybe he should have just. I don't know what to say because
he said his parents really needed it. See, he said they really needed it.
Yeah,
but I understand they really need it. It's just this man told you. I never heard an owner tell a player don't sign a contract. Just think about it, fellas. Throughout that whole run, all 6 championships, this guy was making 16 to 18 million. Not a year.
No.
For the whole 7 years.
It's like $3 million a year or something like that. 2.5, I think they said.
Yeah, that's a Larry Bird 1987 contract.
Yeah, that's a damn shame. But you also got to think Magic Johnson, a few years before that, what he signed a 25-year, $25 million contract?
But you're looking at
lifetime contract they called it back then.
Well, which one's
that's
worse?
1979-80.
No, it wasn't. He was in the league a few years before they gave him that. That wasn't his first contract.
No, back then, he played like a year or something.
I think he got it a couple years later.
Yeah, it was a couple years.
Rookie contracts didn't run like they run now. Well, automatic 3 years.
No.
Yeah, I think there was like 4 or 5, but I think he signed it on the second.
Yeah, they gave him an extension. Yeah, they gave him that extension, because they won the championship his first year, right? Or was it the second?
That was at least, first year. That was at least 84, 85, Corey. Yeah, so he had been there 4 years.
So what's the worst contract? 25 years, 25 million, or 7 years, 16 or 18
Pippins, because
Pippins is better because he's making like 1 point. Magic was $1 million a year.
Oh yeah,
which went forever. It was $1 million a year for life.
It didn't raise an eyebrow back then. No, that was actually considered a good contract.
No, I think that was the richest.
$1 million was huge back then.
No, that was the richest contract at that point of all time.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. You know what else really blew my mind? I was listening to them talk, and it made me realize why Scottie Pippen and Jordan really hated Tony Kukoc when he first came to the Bulls. I had no idea that until Jordan's last couple of years, he was like the fourth highest paid player on the Bulls. Like Tony Kukoc was making more than him his first couple of years. So
Jordan started making money about 94.
94, right? So
No, about 95. The second round.
Yeah, his last 3 years.
But by that time,
he started doing 1 year contracts.
Yep.
Jordan was the master of that when it was like 1 year, $25 million, 1 year, 28, and I think his last year it was like 35, right, Corey?
Like 36.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something. So I'm guessing Tony Kukoc was a part of the Bulls way before he actually came, right? He was one of those, they drafted him, but they kept him over there in Europe. Because remember, during the Dream Team, Jordan and Pippen was going at Tony Kukoc because they knew he was on his way coming over there. Remember that?
Yeah. They gave it to him. They gave it to him.
So he must have been a part of like the Bulls property for like 3-4 years before he even came.
Something like that. I think he was locked into where he was. He would be the first team. Some kind of way. I think they had it locked to where he would be the first team to sign if he played in America with the Bulls.
Oh, okay.
But he was still under contract. But he was already under contract, but negotiated.
I got you.
Which is weird.
I got you. So that's crazy, man.
He had a big contract. He had like a $70 million contract at one point.
Yeah, I know. Pippen was probably looking at this dude like, how is this even possible? But it's messed up.
I got a question for both of y'all. If you're Jerry Reinsdorf, right, and you know you got Krause running everything, do you dare tear that team up? Because I said this on the last show. I used to be like, Corey, no way they break that team up. When they were saying the last dance, I'm like, you have to be stupid to go for 4 championships in a row, 6 of 7 championships, and break a team up. Did you understand what Jerry Krause was actually doing? See, looking to the future.
In hindsight, I do.
Yeah,
in hindsight, I do. It's different. It's different kind of coaches. Right? I mean, different kind of owners, right? And presidents. So when you don't have anything and then you win like 6, it's enough. It's enough. Not for the fans, not for the players, but if me and you owned a team and we lost for like 20 years, no, we lost about 8 years, and then we won like 6, we'd be like, man, we rich if we go to playoffs or not. Why we need to give these dudes all this money? We rich and we got rings for every hour, Sean. You know, I could just see me and you talking and convincing each other, like, man, it's way more profitable to just not go to the playoffs for 15 more years than to worry about Jordan.
You know what?
You know, it's like,
I think you just hit the nail on the head, Corey, because I think they couldn't stomach having to pay Jordan all that money. Because, you know, the NBA isn't where it's at now, where giving a player $30-40 million a year, that's nothing. That's average. Back then, you know, these rich, I don't want to say these rich European owners, you know, they're probably like, come on, man, I'm not giving you 30. You want us to keep doing that? Like, they're like, man, we're not paying you.
Well, they are different. They're different kind because it's the difference between true dynasties. You take like Lakers, they always throw the most money at the biggest person. That's their game, to win forever. Some coaches and some owners just want to win 1 or 2. Like, you're happy with winning 3 rings, 4 rings, 5 rings. You don't have it. Like, you don't have the, I want to win forever in my blood. So it's like,
you brought up something that got me thinking now. Like, I'm on the spot thinking here. You have 3 different kind of owners. You have your Jerry Reinsdorf that's like, okay, I'm done. You have what you just said in L.A., well, we going to get it forever. And then you made me think about the Spurs. They're like, let's just be the Snell in this race.
Yeah.
Let's just put out decent people, pay maybe a top player if they come along, and we just going to ride the wave for about 3 decades.
But do you think the Lakers or the Spurs would have, because think about it, at that time, at that period, to pay one player $30-something million from 1 year, I don't even know if the Lakers would have did that for one of their players in their prime. In their prime?
Yeah.
No, one of their players. Not Jordan.
Yeah. Well, I think that if the Lakers had the money to, they would, because it's not like they went and got Jordan. They got him dirt cheap, and they paid him dirt cheap for years, so he was well overdue for that money.
That's true.
So he was well overdue, so they just was giving him money like the government holding taxes, giving you a check later. They just like paid him money. He been should have got like when he won the second ring.
Yeah. And you know what else I find amazing? So, like you said, C, there was a horrible organization for a long time before Jordan came along. They wasn't making no money. Jordan comes, and I saw a stat where they made more money from the year Jordan got drafted until he retired. In that, just in that little span, they made more money, I think, than any team in the NBA. And you would think,
sure they did.
And you would think, after making all that money and you sitting here looking at your best asset, knowing you ain't paying this man, after you just made all this money, you would think you'd be like, you know what, maybe we should hit him off with a little something so he don't be mad at us and want to leave. But that's the
man, it happens all the time. Tom Brady is practicing in Tampa right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That dude practicing in Tampa.
You're right.
Like that shit is, I don't even like him, but that's sad to me.
Yeah, it is.
Like he's practicing in Tampa. He can't even retire on a cold winter night. Shit. Like think about that.
You got
Peyton Manning was like,
it's foul. It's foul.
Peyton Manning was making backup videos to try to prove to the owner to keep him. You still got traded.
Yeah, they still
it's
traded.
Like,
yeah, that's
like
sad,
you know,
man.
he's making backup videos. Like, see, look at me, y'all.
Yeah.
He was doing good, but
me.
you know, don't forget it. But they did it. I then got over that when I saw what they did with Joe Montana back in the days, and the 49ers were eating my team.
Oh, that hurt me so much, boy. You know that hurt me, Corey. That was my team. See, that hurt me so much. Now, you know, another lesson I learned about, and this is a life lesson that I learned watching this documentary, Jerry Krause. All right. When in life, fellas, and you're on earth and you have air in your lungs, be nice to people. You know why? Because when you pass and you do die, they're still gonna hold those grudges. I felt like I was like nervous for him, and I felt bad in my body, just shrugging up every time someone spoke about that man, because he still have people that's in his family that still love him.
Yeah.
That still consider him a dad, a brother, a uncle. Like they love him. And to hear people talk about him like that has to hurt as a family member, but he deserves what he did, because what you do on earth, you know, people don't forget about it.
Yeah.
I felt almost sorry for the guy. And when you look at what he did and the moves he did make, if you take away the Jordan thing, he actually was a hell of a GM.
Oh, he was great. I don't know if you guys know, after the Bulls, he actually went to work for the Yankees and was a scout for the Yankees. So it wasn't just basketball with him. He was a baseball scout and a basketball scout. So real talented dude. I just think that I don't know. I was listening to ESPN and they said that they don't know if this video would have came out if he would have still been alive. They said they find it kind of ironic that, you know, 2 years after the man passed away, now all of a sudden, you know, the talks of the show, the documentary coming out. I just wonder if he was still alive, would he refute a lot of the things that were said about him?
Of course he would, because they say, what did you hear what the guy said? The guy said in the show he was a fat little kid that was picked on his whole life. So when he got power, he wanted to show people that he was the boss. Man, you don't have to say that about that man.
Yeah, that's messed up.
But let me tell you, I don't see it's different kind of people on this earth. So I'm kind of different. I'm not a villain, but I always liked the villain. And I heard this dude in the mob one day on TV. It's a mob movie. What do you say? He told this dude who got shot at. He says you could be poor and have a lot of friends, or you could be rich and have enemies. You make the choice. So a lot of these billionaire guys are actually more diabolical than just like the average dude like us. They don't think like us.
Yeah.
Some of these dudes is like, you know what, I'm about to get the next couple of years we're gonna get all the billions we could, and then we locking down everything, and that's it. They don't care who feelings they hurt. You know, you take any billionaire, he's not as soft as anybody else. You know, you know, people dying or going hungry, that's not going to make him lose sleep at night.
Not at all.
That's just, you know, that's just how it goes. So when a billionaire dude, he's not kidding his family. He's not going to shake his family up much, because they'll be like, you know what, Uncle such and such, he was this way, but look what he got. So you get people in his family just being hardcore too and ruthless, like
they probably just as rude as he was. Probably like, yep, he did it. So what?
And then you be like, you know what? I thought they'd be like, that he's worse than his grandfather. And that's you hear stuff like that. It's like, man, he's way more ruthless.
Yeah,
like, you know, it's like, but that's why they get up there. You know, people with like good hearts don't become billionaires. It don't work like that. you don't have a billionaire that's not ruthless.
Nah, you gotta be cutthroat. You gotta be cutthroat.
Right.
And it sounds messed up, but to get to that level, there's so many other cutthroats out there. You gotta be more of a cutthroat than the next man. So you gotta be ruthless. You really do. You really do.
You need it because you need dudes like Jerry West cutting backdoor deals, snaking people. Like, other people think that's ruthless, but that's how you get shit done sometimes. It's like, okay, I'm gonna shit on all of them and show them I'm not playing.
Yeah.
And they love him, and you never know who's gonna be the villain.
Yeah.
Like, they love Jerry West, just like some people love what's my man for Dallas? Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones, he's ruthless, cutthroat, but some people just love him though. Good old Jerry,
Yeah.
They fire people with smiles and say it's business. It's not personal.
They be laughing and be like everything's all good, but you just ruined that man's life. He
got to go home to his wife and tell him that he don't have no job.
But anyway,
and
guys,
be like, well, if I care about anybody, go ahead.
No, that's all good. I was just saying we got to go on this quick commercial break. We're gonna come right back though, and we're gonna pick up right where we left off on. This is a whole show about the Last Dance, so we'll be back in a few minutes.